Hello, welcome to Learning to Drum. I'm your host, Adam Tevlin, and we are in week 25, episode 22. Welcome back to the show. If this is your first time, of course, with us, please go back to episode 1. Last week, we interviewed the principal percussionist to the St. Louis Symphony, Will James, and we talked about the approach of the modern concert snare drum roll. He wrote a book on it, titled that, and it was just a wonderful interview, and I was really appreciative of him coming to spend his time on the show so you folks can gain a greater knowledge of what that concert snare drum roll is all about. We also called it the buzz roll or the multiple bounce roll. And so this week what we're going to be doing is study number 10, and we're going to get into that, and that's going to be just a little bit more complicated rhythms utilizing the 16th note rest. But before we do that, let's go ahead and review that multiple bounce roll or the concert roll or the press roll or the buzz roll. And remember, just start with the one hand, right? Make sure, of course, you're starting in the hinge here, but it's just on the one hand, just so you can get the feel of that, right? Okay? And now the left hand, right? Okay, so and then once you get used to that, then you can start putting them together, right? And it is about technique, but you really want to try to achieve that sound of the buzz, a nice smooth buzz. And remember, at the end of that buzz, you have a little funny sound at it. I don't have that same pad as what we had last week, but that's okay. But you can kind of hear it in there. That little funny thing, and that's your cue to start the next hand. So work on that, right? Ooh. That's all right. There we go. Okay? All right, so keep working on that. You have a ways to go before we actually play it in any of the music, because that's going to be on solo 10. And now let's go to study number 10 on page 27 in the book. And we'll go ahead and dial up the metronome to 65 beats per minute and making sure our 16th notes are locked in. Okay? And we'll do the repeat on this, okay? So just try the best you can, and if you can't do the repeat, you can always stop it and then start it on the left hand, all right? It's up to you, okay? All right, so number 1 we have, it's counted 1E and 2E and a 3E and 4E and a 1E and 2E and a 3E and 4E and a. So in this case scenario though, number 1, we can really feel that 1E and 2E and a 3E and 4E and a, right? And so we're starting to now say the words instead of read each letter to make up the word. Okay, here we go for number 1, 2, 1 and a 2E and a, here we go. And 1E and 2E and a 3E and 4E and a 1E and 2E and a 3E and 4E and a 1E and 2E and a 3E and 4E and a 1E and 2E and a 3E and 4E and a. Okay. Yeah, that repeat's a little tricky, double left and everything, 4E and 1E and, okay? So if that is a problem spot, you can always take that beat 4 on that last measure and go ahead and get into that first measure on that beat 1, and I think you'll do just fine. All right, number 2, it's gonna go 1 and a 2E and a 3 and a 4E and a 1 and a 2E and a 3 and a 4E and, okay? Here we go for number 2. 2, 1 and a 2 and a ready and a go, and 1 2E and a 3 and a 4E and a 1 and a 2E and a 3 and a 4E and a 1 and a 2E and a 3 and a 4E and a 1 and a 2E and a 3 and a 4E and a. How did that feel for you? Get on the repeat. It's a little tricky, but you'll get it. All right, so number 3 we got E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E and a 1 E. Okay, so this is the same kind of rhythmical cell that we saw in the 16th note warm-up, so this shouldn't be too new to you. So let's try number 3. 1, 2, here we go, and 1 and a 2 and a 3 and a and a 4. 1, Okay, there it is, number 3. And number 4 is like the rhythmical cell that we see in the 16th note warm-up, but it's written as a 16th note plus an 8th note plus a 16th note. We here, number 4, replace that 8th note with a 16th note and a 16th note rest. Now, obviously this is going to sound different if I were playing a flute, remember the flute example, or any other type of instrument that has a sustained, okay? Okay, here we go. 1 E, a 2 E, a ready, and a play E, and a 1 E, a 2 E, a 3 E, a 4 E, a 1 E, a 2 E, a 3 E, a 4 E, a 1 E, a 2 E, a 3 E, a 4 E, a 1 E, a 2 E, a 4 E. Okay, there it is. And I had a little stick click there. That's okay though. We're just going to keep moving right along to number 5. We're on resting on the downbeat of every beat, right? And then also the So E and, E and, E and. So I'm going to use that downbeat of 1, 2, 3, and 4 to kick myself off on the E, to make sure I play on the E. Okay, here we go. 1, 2, 1 and a 2 E and ready and play and 3, 4, 3. There it is. Number 6 is a mixture of E and E and on beat 2, okay? And obviously the first 2 beats mirror the last 2 beats, okay? And so I'm going to feel that downbeat again like I did in number 5 and making sure that I kick myself off on that E, okay? So here we go for number 6. 2, 1 and a 2 and a ready and a play and E and E, 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 E and So notice how on the first time I was playing through that, my left hand didn't stop. And on the second time, or the repeat, my right hand wouldn't stop, right? So always playing the E's and the U's on the left hand on the first time through, on the repeat, reversing the sticking, my right hand doesn't stop because all the E's and the U's are played on my right hand. Okay, so number 7, again, another mixture of the E and then the E and Okay, so I'm going to make sure that I use the downbeats of 1, 2, 3, and 4 again, okay? Just like what we did in the other 2. Here we go for number 7. 2, 1 and a 2 and a ready and a go and E and E and E E Okay, so again, you know, my right hand doesn't stop on that repeat, and before that, the first time through, my left hand didn't stop because I was playing on the E's and the U's, like number 6. Okay, now number 8 is 1 and a 2 E, 4. A 1 and a 2 E, 4, Okay, so it's a little tricky, but I think we'll be able to get that. All right, here we go for number 8. 2, 1 and a 2 E, ready and play, and 1 and a 2 E, 4. A 1 and a 2 E, 4. A 1 and a 2 E, 4. A 1 and a 2 E, 4. All right, that was a little tricky, but with a little practice, you'll get it. You can even go slower. Remember, you don't have to take the 65 beats per minute. You can go at slower tempo, 1 and 2 E, 4, okay? Whatever it takes for you to understand that. And again, with these rhythmical cells, hopefully you're starting to get a grasp over that, right? And that's why I wasn't counting all the 1 E and an okay? I actually just counted the rhythm itself, like number 8, 1 and 2 E, 4, right? Is a little bit easier way than trying to count out all those notes individually, okay? All right, well, that's study number 10. Let's go ahead and flip the page here to 28. And we have a new exercise that we're going to learn. It's called double beat. All right, but before we do that, it is Test time. Okay, yeah, test time. All right, so this actually is going to tie in with what we're doing here. So, but before we get into this double beat, I want to test you on the double stroke roll. Remember, our goal was at 120 beats per minute. It is not too bad. Okay, right, left, right, left, right, left, right, left. Okay, and if you're not there, that's okay. If you're on the pillow though, and you're doing it on the pillow at that tempo, that's great, because this warm up here coming up is going to help you with the double stroke roll. All right, but let's just start it. Let's do 110 to save some time here, and then we'll do our 120. Okay, here we go. 1, 2, 1, 2. Here we go. And if you're a little off track, that's okay. Just hop on. Make sure you're one with the metronome. Okay, that's 110. All right, so for the test, and if you notice that as I'm doing this, whether it be at 110, about there it starts to happen where I'm using my hinge a little bit. Okay, we're going to talk about that in just a sec here. Okay, so let's try 120. Be relaxed. Test time for 120. 2, 1, 2. Here we go. And relax. I'm using the bounce, right? Notice what my fingers are doing. They never really leave the stick. How's that feeling? You don't want to be stiff. A little bit longer. And there we go. All right, so that's the test for the double stroke roll. If you noticed, as I was playing, there was hinge movement, okay? And so this is where we're starting to bust out of the gelatin mold. You remember we talked about strict movements at the beginning, and we want to make sure that we have that form, that gelatin mold, right? So now we're starting to take off that mold and we're starting to breathe with it, okay? And so really what's happening is an isolated diddle on each hand, right? That's what the double stroke roll is. On the first stroke, I attack the drum as if it was a free stroke, right? And then on the second stroke, I'm collecting with my fingers. Okay, I'll show you. Okay? And it is triggered by the hinge of the elbow, all right? So as you get faster with rudiments, you'll even notice it with me that there's a certain flow to these. And so you're starting to use a little bit more hinge and like paradiddles, right? Okay? So you can see me using that hinge on each paradiddle, okay? Same thing with doubles. I'm going to use that hinge on my elbow so I can have those two strokes. When I drop the stick to the pad, free stroke, it comes back up, opening up the back three fingers naturally, right? And I come for my second, okay? This is called drop catch. I used to call it like that because you're dropping the stick and catching it, okay? That's how my fingers never really leave the stick, right? So it's important, really, when you're trying to get the double stroke roll faster, you can see my fingers really involved. And then now there's that fine line where I'm actually stroking the drum, okay? So remember we talked about when we get to slow to fast, there's a fine line where the bounce starts to take over. And it's just up to us to learn how to control that bounce, right? Okay, so that is the double stroke roll test, okay? And we talked about drop catch. This was also called push-pull. Push, pull, push, pull, okay? I never really called it that, but I know a lot of educators out there did, so or do, okay? So whatever you want to call it, it's just fine. Drop, catch, or push, pull, okay? Okay, some educators even call this open, closed, or closed, open. No, it's open, close, that's right. So open, close, open, close, open, close, okay? So either way, there really is no right or wrong in the terminology, but when I was explaining to students, I called it the drop catch method, okay? So let's go to page 28 and let's talk about double beat, because that is going to isolate each diddle for the double stroke roll. So this is how it helps you with the double stroke roll, okay? The rhythm in there is pretty much stuff that you're already used to, right? Counts as 1 E, A 2, and E and 4 and 1 E, A 2, and And the second measure is the same, 1 E, A 2, and E and 4 and. Now measures 3 and 4 are going to be a little different. Now this is all played on the right hand, measures 3 and 4. 1 E, A 2, and E and 4 E, A 1, and E and 3 E, A 4 and. Whew. Okay, so, and then the left hand, of course, on measures 5, 6, 7, 8, we have the measures 7 and 8 there, all on the left hand, much like what we did on the right hand. So I'll just go real slow with you on it, and we'll start at 70 beats per minute. Okay, and really, it's a real good, easy way to think about it. You're doing doubles on the right for a measure, doubles on the left on a measure, you know, of course, with the exception of 4 and then for 2 measures, you're doing doubles, okay? And that's a hard one to remember. And usually what I do is I remember, like, okay, I have 8 doubles, and at the end of that, I say ba-da-ba-da-ba. And you might have heard that before in like cartoons, especially in my generation. We watch cartoons, of course, on Saturday mornings, and you've heard ba-dum-ba-dum-bum-bum, you know. So my teacher, Mike Davis, when he was trying to teach me this exercise, I kept messing up because I didn't know how many da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da I had to go through, okay? So he'd always kind of stop me, and I need to start the other hand. But I realized I had to do 8, and then ba-da-ba-da-ba. You'll see what I'm talking about. Here we go. 2 for double beat. 1 and a 2 and a ready and a go. And now for the right. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Da 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 da. See what I mean? For the right. Left. 1, 2, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Da 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 da. And that's it. That's the exercise. And at this slow tempo, I'm going all free strokes except for that last stroke on the end of 4, which is a downstroke or controlled stroke, okay? So all free. At this slow tempo, they're all free. And as we get faster, you'll notice how you're going to incorporate more hinge, and you're incorporating that drop catch or push pull or open close, whatever you want to call it. So I'm going to go up a little bit in tempo. We'll go ahead and try it at 80. And I think around 90 is where we start to feel that. 80, if you can't hang, that's okay. 1, 2, 1 and a 2, and here we go. And still all free, except that last one. 1. Da 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 da. Da 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 da. Okay, pretty cool. All right, let's try 90. The goal is going to be at 130, so I'll do 90 and then I'm going to jump up to 130. But the 90, you're going to see me start to use my hinge and the elbows here. Okay, here we go. 1 and 2, and here we go. Da, 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 da. Okay, there we go. Okay, so for 130, you're going to really see the hinge. Ooh, it's a little faster. Okay, so you don't have to play. 2, 1, 2, here I go. And you can see how I'm using those hinges there in my elbow. Boom, boom, oops, boom, 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 boom. Drop, catch, drop, catch, drop, catch. Or push, pull, or open, closed, however you want to call it. Okay, that is double beat. And yes, this is going to help you out with the double stroke roll, right? So it really isolates each diddle, okay? So you want to do that, and that's how we can transfer it from the pillow to the practice pad. So I remembered that I can play really fast, you know, on a pillow, and it was really hard to transfer that to the pad, but really that double beat exercise really helped me out a lot. You can also do this as double stops, right? I want to go a little faster. Okay, so you can see that now I'm really trying to get my left in shape with the right. So double stops are really good when you're doing these single-handed exercises and trying to make sure that your left hand matches the right. And there we go, escape drumstick. Okay, there we go. Well, that's it. That's all we have for today. We did study number 10. We did double beat. Make sure you go over the other stuff, you know, like the multiple bounce roll. And you remember, we're using the hinge there, okay? And we got plenty of time to work on that multiple bounce roll because you're not going to be able to play it. Well, you can play it at any time you want, but you're not going to play it until actually solo number 10. All right, so make sure you do that and see the hinges there, okay? I hope you have a good week. Thanks for joining me. I'm your host, Adam Tevlin on Learning to Drum, and always remember to keep swinging those sticks.